Hey guys, thank you for visiting the channel and taking the time to watch this video. I just want to put a quick insert in. My channel has been doing really great lately. I mean, it's been booming and it's because of you guys. So I just want to take the time out and say thank you guys for watching my videos. I do so much work for you guys. I mean, like, it's not like I'm here saying things that I got notes. And it takes a lot, man. With all these books, I pay a lot of money for these books. And before anybody says anything, like, it's just a zodiac. Show you guys real quick. It's just all the zodiac. I don't want you guys thinking anything about it. Like, man, this guy's switched. It's just the zodiac, guys. As you know, I'm a fellow astronomer. I love astrology. But back to what I was saying. But yeah, so I just want to take a time and I say I appreciate you guys watching the videos, and like I like you guys talking more in the comments. I love it. But as I say, I have prior videos. I feel like some people miss some other videos. You may see one video, don't have enough context. So as I say, please watch the video in its entirety before judging. Come on, you don't want to just watch 5 minutes and then just critique it, but just putting it out there. But again, thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. It means a lot to me, and I have a giveaway I'll be doing soon. If once I reach 100 subscribers, I'm almost there, but that's when it shows up. But thanks again for you guys. All right, cheers, guys. Enjoy the video. So now, when it comes to antiquity, we can dive deep, really deep, when it comes to deep antiquity or recent antiquity. So that goes with the Romans, the Greeks, the Egyptians, even to the Persians. But what I want to look into is just all this monuments, all these symbols, like, what's going on? Like, we credit it to the Egyptians and the Greeks. Like, how did they do all this? Even to this day, we have to have machinery help us to even get close to what these ancient people were capable of doing. I mean, like, I can just give you an example. We could just end it right there. Just the pyramids in itself is just mind-boggling. Once you just take the time and now, I haven't visited, which I will be visiting it one day. Like, I got to put that into the to-do list. But yeah, so, but just the capability and just the manpower that would have to go in this, and to do it precisely the first time, because where they put it at, like, there was no second chances, and it's just like they got it right the first time. I mean, like, what type of planning does that even have to come into achieving such a goal like that? And it just boggles the mind. I mean, like, even to the Romans and to the Greeks too, all of these statues to their gods, and all these temples that were built just to honor them. I mean, like, there's just some things that you don't do on accident. Like, they're not just, these people weren't just sitting around, oh, let me build a temple for this deity. Like, come on. There was certain plannings to all this. So there had to be a puppeteer, some type of leader that orchestrated this, some type of information, some type of knowledge that was bestowed upon them to do all this. I mean, like, go into my book reviews. If you watch some of my videos, I showed you in the book review for the cult of Sol Invictus that the solar deities, Sol Invictus, is just a resemblance of the Statue of Liberty right there at the harbor of New York City. I mean, look. and I just show people this information, and they just so, it's a coincidence. Like, there is no such thing as coincidence. Like, there's just too much information. Like, modern day man is taking stuff from antiquity and then just bringing it back into modern times. Nothing new underneath the sun. So just that, an example is just, you just got to sit back and think like, what? Like, that's crazy. I mean, even to the Greeks, that we give so much to when it comes to the Western philosophy, like Herodotus, Thales, Hecateus, Homer, Plato. All these people played a big part into Western philosophy. And then, like, from my view, is where did all these people get their knowledge from? Like, it had to resonate somewhere. And then, like, after researching some of these people, I mean, I will show you these certain peoples that you really need to look into. But before I do that, and they all just talk about how they went into Egypt and learned from the Egyptian philosophers or magicians, if you want to get into it, talking about these secret schools of initiation coming out of there saying, "Man, know thyself." And it's just like, what is all this? All these secrecy, and then when it comes to them having secret societies back in the day, yes, actually, it's nothing new. These fraternities aren't doing something new. This all stems back way, way back to deep antiquity, even starting with the Egyptians, as I'll show you later on. But all of this secrecy, like, what is all this? But then, like, mainstream news or information doesn't give us that much information about the Greeks going into Kemet. If you didn't know, Kemet is the original name for Egypt. Egypt was given the name from the Greeks, but it's actually called Kemet, land of the black, for the soil that's at the Nile River. So just wanted to chime in on that. But yeah, I mean, all these Greek people going into Kemet and just learning and then coming out. But as I said here, if you just take a look at these certain people, I mean, they give you all the information's there. Everything's there where it comes to astronomy, astrology, when it comes to even etymology, certain rites, how they feasted, even going to worshiping their deities. Like, where did the Greeks get all this information? And I'm going to show you later. It actually stems all from Egypt. And yeah, like I said earlier, Egypt gets a bad rap because of Christianity, of course. But I mean, once you look outside the book, like real history outside of the book, it's totally different. There's one story here in the book, but then all these other scholars and all these historians tell a different story. So you gotta use critical thinking here. I mean, like, the majority of people are saying this stuff and showing you evidence. I mean, what is it? So, like, I'm not trying to bash anybody's religion or anything like that, or trying to switch your ideas, but I just want to show you cold, hard, the facts. What it shows you that we can all look up, and it's history, people, proven history that we can all look up. We can read. I mean, yes, it's going to cost a little bit to get the books, and I mean, like, these books are expensive. I tell you, like, as you see, I spend a lot of money on my books, man. I research so much. Like, at this point, like, I have so much information. You got to be crazy. You got to be really about history if you want to get into this topic, because there's so many people that coincide into this. Like I said, the Phoenicians, for instance, the Greeks actually commemorate the Phoenicians to giving them their alphabet. So you should look that up. So all of this information is there. But as I said, so let's get into these specific people, these Greeks. that tell so much in their books. They just lay it down so perfectly. You just gotta pay attention and read, because I'm telling you, everything is in the books. All these little they can portray a little bit more in books than when it comes to actual to be how can I say, like an interview, even modern time too. Everything's in the book. Yes, not everything's there. Some stuff is a little watered down, but that's why you find different references. So you can kind of put everything together, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's why I always give you guys book references too, because I don't want everybody to think, oh, past, present, and future, you're just spouting out whatever that comes to your mind. No, this is me doing my research, deep research, and then giving you guys reference also. So that's one thing I will always do. I'm not like all these other YouTubers that they're going to flash a book saying reference like that. They're going to point right there and it's going to flash up. Now, like, I'll be sure to show you the books. Like, we got the books. Phoenicians, Herodotus, what we're actually going to be getting into soon, showing you his book. And of course, one of the Greek literatures that I talked about, Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey. All this Greek literature written down about 1000 BCE, I want to say. I'll show you some more facts about it. But yeah, so just want to show you, like, I do this, man. That's why it takes a little bit of time for me to get some of my videos. But I'm going to do a little bit of segue. I feel like if you watched my channel, I've given you guys information, and if you haven't noticed, the books that I choose to do the reviews, there's a reason why I'm doing this. Remember, people, there is no coincidence. We're too passive. People need to know that some things are deliberate. So, but I leave little hints here, and if you take the time to read these certain books, which you don't have to, that's why I do the book reviews for you guys. But as I said, I laid a reference so you can do your due diligence. But if you take the time to listen to my book reviews, you'll see that I've been laying things down for you in Antiquity, showing you like little codes. But we're gonna get into that now, though. So, but yeah, so like I said, when it comes to these philosophers, as I'll show you here, Homer, Hesiod, Plato, Herodotus, just like I just spoke about earlier, Plutarch, Diodorus Siculus, and Thales. And like I said, if you just pay attention and read what these specific people talk about in their books, everything is just laid out there for you. Like I said, they even go into specific details when it comes to their mingling, when it comes to with the Egyptians, even to the Phoenicians. They talk about astrology and who the first people were, defining certain gods, certain deities, and certain people telling you who took who from what and adapted it to different names, which is really important, which I told you that all these civilizations, when it comes to conquest, they took bits and pieces from who they defeated and they incorporated it into their culture. So as I said, when it came to astrology, way of living, and even when it came to Thales, also helped out with mathematics when it comes to Thales, as I'll show you later. But one big component that I want to bring out is the contribution when it comes to medicine. And I'll show you here. And this is the National Library of Medicine. So You can do your due diligence and look this up also. But in abstract, it says here, Egyptian medicine is the base of Greek medicine. Egyptian people and their medical knowledge are often mentioned in the Iliad and Odyssey of Homer, one of the Greeks I just showed you in the prior picture. Many Greek doctors, such as Melampus, Aesopus, and as well as Hippocrates, I butchered most of their names, I'm sorry guys, visited Egypt to study and understand medicine. Okay. This work intends to focus particularly on Homer, Herodotus, and Plutarch's letters, where the importance of Egypt in religion, science, and medicine is clear. Herodotus 484 through 420 BCE in the second book of the Histories, which I'll be showing you guys later. I'll be showing you passages from the book a little bit later because I own the book. Describes Egypt and the medical knowledge of its doctors. Plutarch 1 through 2 CE in the virtues of Sparta and life of Lycurgus tells about an energy beverage named Nephtine made with drugs from Egypt. And another Greek philosopher that we all know, well known as Plato, which actually chimes in also. So I'll show you guys a quote from him here also. Plato in Egypt. Damien went on from there. Plato traveled to Egypt with Euripides to meet with Egyptian philosophers and priests. During his stay, he became very ill, but was cured by a priest using a cognition made of seawater. This caused Plato to concur with Homer that the Egyptians surpassed all mankind as healers. So even Plato is commending Homer to what he said when it came to their medicine. But I'll continue. Every man is a healer there. Homer, Odyssey 4, 229 through 232. He also learned about the water clock and brought the idea back to Greece. As you know, the Egyptians were the first to invent a portable timekeeping device. And as you see here, this is the Egyptian water clock dated 1400 BC. And to put into context, as you see also, the Greeks telling you that they got most of their ideas and their way of living, astrology, astronomy, science, from the Egyptians. But I'll finish up here. The most important thing is that it was in Egypt that Plato was exposed to many new ideas from the philosopher priest, which in turn formed the nucleus of what would become his philosophy and his theory of forms. So now, after just showing you three Greek philosophers and showing you how they all contested as to going into Egypt and having numerous encounters where it comes to their medicine and how it helped them and actually brought some of their ideas to Greek. So, and after showing you the website that you can go look up too, Homer and Herodotus contributing towards the medicine in Egypt and it being the basis of medical for the Greeks. But if you study Homer and Herodotus, I have to point this out because I'm going to have, if people do the research like I hope you guys do, you're going to run into this. They're going to say they may be a little bit pseudo or, oh, that they made all this stuff up. And, well, let's say we can contest to that. But if you know about Herodotus, you'll know that since in his book he quoted of this lost city of Harsalon that was submerged in Upper Egypt, and for thousands of years everybody thought it was a myth, They thought it didn't exist until we found it. And I'll show you the article here. And before I continue, just want to show you guys the book, the landmark Herodotus, the Histories, where we get history from. The first Greek historian, Herodotus, was an ancient Greek historian and geographer from the Greek city of Halicarnassus, part of the Persian Empire, now Belgium, Turkey. He is known for having written the Histories, a detailed account of the Greco-Persian Wars. Herodotus was the first writer to perform systematic investigation of historical events. He is referred to as the father of history, a title confirmed on him by the ancient Roman orator Cicero. I'll leave all the rest for you guys to read, but I want to come down here where I highlighted. Herodotus has been criticized for his inclusion of legends and fanciful accounts in his work. The fellow historian Thucydides accused him of making up stories for entertainment. However, Herodotus explained that he reported what he saw and what was told to him. A sizable portion of his stories has since been confirmed by modern historians and archaeologists. And as I said earlier, they found this lost city due to the writings that Herodotus had in his stories. And I'll show you the link to the article here. History of Donus Herculean. For more than 4 centuries into the foundation of Alexandria in 331 BCE, Donus reigned supreme over the Canopic portion of the Nile River. The Greek historian Herodotus of Sicily wrote about Donus Herculean in his great work, Bibliotheca Historia, between 60 BC and 30 BCE. Sometime in the 5th century BC, Herodotus, like I just said, wrote that the Greek god and hero Hercules, actually first stepped foot onto Egypt at this port city. Thus the Greeks gave Donus the name Herculean and built a grand temple dedicated to him. Herodotus also said Paris and Helen of Troy visited the port city. So here's the primitive Egyptian port Donus Herculean was lost at the bottom of the sea for 1,300 years. Like I just said, Herodotus wrote this in his book and Histories. The Egyptian city of Donus Herculean was the main port of entry to the Mediterranean Sea. Between the 8th century BCE and the 4th century BCE, by the 8th century CE, what remained of the city sank into the sea and eventually became a distant memory, without any trace except for a few references in historical writings. The forgotten ruins rested undisturbed until the 21st century in 2000. The European Institute of Maritime Archaeology, led by renowned archaeologist Frank Goudia, finally discovered the city's treasure in the depths of the Obicure Bay. And this is where they found the lost city. As you can see, it's a little bit off from the city of Alexandria in Egypt. But yeah, as you see there, that's where they found it, and it was submerged in water, just like what Herodotus contested to in his book. So now, after showing you that and that Herodotus written down about this lost city, and that us actually finding it contests to what he said in his book. And like I said before, I have the book. So this is why I show you guys. I'm not one of those YouTubers that just shows you the pictures. I actually own the book and do my due diligence. So that's why I can say I can vouch for some of the stuff that Herodotus contests to when he talks about Egypt. And like I said, I want to show you some passages from the book Histories, quoting from Herodotus what he says pertaining to Egypt. So now, page 118 on book 2. Book 2 of Egypt. Says here by Herodotus, got it here highlighted. As to all matters concerning the human world, they were in agreement. They said that the Egyptians were the first of all peoples
to discover the year by dividing up the seasons into 12 parts to total 1 year. What does that sound like, guys, to you in the Western civilization? What does that sound like? And that they discovered how to do this from the stars, astronomy. The Egyptians seem to me to be much wiser than the Hellenists in a way that they regulate the timing of the seasons. I'll get back to the definition of Hellenists in a second. While the Hellenists attempt to preserve the timing of the seasons by inserting an intercalary month every other year, the Egyptians divided the year in 12 months of 30 days each and add just 5 days each year beyond that number, and thus their season do return at the same periods in a cycle from year to year, duality. They said that the Egyptians were also the first to establish the tradition of identifying names for the 12 gods, and that the Hellenists adopted this practice from them. They were also the first to assign altars, statues, and temples to the gods, and to carve their figures in relief on stone. So you can see from what Herodotus is claiming that the Greeks got all of their customs, especially when it came to their altars and their rituals, from the Egyptians. And that word Hellenist, I want to give you a brief definition so you know exactly who he's talking about. So as we see here, Hellene, now Hellenist, an ancient Greek, even a native of modern Greece, chiefly in the title of the now exiled royal family. So you see exactly who he's referring to when he's saying that they make up claims, or that they're following, that the Hellenists are following the Egyptians. These are the Greeks. Herodotus himself is a Greek too. The next insert, I want to show you page 144, so you guys can see also book 2, page 144. In any case, the Egyptians were the first of all peoples to hold public religious festivals, pageants, and processions escorting divine images. Remember now. And the Hellenists, well, since I gave you the definition, I'm going to just say, and the Greeks learn about these rituals from them. My proof for this assertion is that Egyptian ceremonies have obviously been held for a very long time, but those of the Greeks have been instituted only recently. The Egyptians come together to celebrate major festivals, not just once, but many times a year. The most popular festival takes place at the city of Bubastis in honor of Artemis. And if you know Greek mythology, you know who that is. The second most popular festival honors Isis, an Egyptian moon goddess, at the city of Bosphorus, an Egyptian city situated in the center of the delta where the most important sanctuary of Isis is located. Isis is, in the Greek language, is Demeter. If you know Greek mythology, you know about Demeter, and especially for the Greeks, their third most popular festival is at the city of Sais in honor of Athena, another Greek goddess. Their fourth at Heliopolis in honor of Helios, Greeks' sun deity that they worship. Come on, guys. This information's here. Their fifth at the city of Balta in honor of Leto, and their sixth at the city of Paphos in honor of Ares. So as you can see, all of this stems straight from Egypt. And in the Greeks, all of their god, the pantheons, from the Egyptians. And before I transition on, I want to show you Demeter, goddess of the harvest, agriculture, and fertility. As I said, member of the 12 Olympians. Original first. Don't forget that, please.